Okay. So there's a disappearance of Sri Gadadhar Das Goswami and Srinivas Acharya and Sri Dhananjay Pandit. So we'll sing this song, Saparshada Bhagavad Viraha Janita Vilapa, or Yanila Pramadana. And we could discuss a few points in relation to these personalities, and we could read the Bhagavatam. Jayanila Pramadana Karuna Pracho Jayanila Pramadana Karuna Pracho Ena Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Ena Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kahadasa Raghunata Patitha Pavan Kahamora Bhata Yuga Kaha Kavira Eka Kale Kota Gela Goranataraj Pashane Katiba Mata Annale Pashiva Karanga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo Saba Sangira Sange Jekoilo Vilas Se Sangana Paya Kande Naratamara Jayanila Premadana Karuna Pracho Hena Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Hena Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Kota Gela Acharya Thakur. Translation. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who is filled with compassion and mercy, where is such a personality as Srinivasa Acharya gone? Where are my Srup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta, and where is Krishna Das Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against a rock and enter into fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees, in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. So read about Dhananjay Pandit. Dhananjay Pandit. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat describes Dhananjay Pandit as Vilaksana Mahanta, having all the characteristics of a great personality. He took part in Lord Chaitanya's Navadvip Kirtan pastimes before moving to Vrindavan on Lord Chaitanya's order. Carrying only a kamandalu, water pot, but remaining absorbed in love of Sri Krishna and Sri Chaitanya, he traveled widely and preached. He established the deities of Gaurnitai, Sri Gopinath, and Damodar. In Vrajalila, he is Vasudama, one of Lord Balaram's Dwadasa Gopals. Right. That's a little about Sri Dhananjay Pandit. Sri Gadadhar Das Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has basically two groups of associates. One group, such as the Dwadasa Gopals, Abhiram Gopal, Gauridas Pandit, Dhananjay, and others, serve Sri Nityananda Prabhu in the mood of Sakya Ras friendship. The second group always stay merged in the mellow of Madhurya Ras, conjugal love. Sri Gadadhar Goswami is a united form of Chandrakanti Gopi, an expansion of Srimati Radharani's effulgence, and Purnananda, an expansion of Lord Balaram's dear girlfriend. So he's combined, united form of Srimati Radharani's effulgence and one of Lord Balaram's dear girlfriend. Thus, Gadadhar Das was an associate of both Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Krishnadas Kaviraj describes Lord Chaitanya as Radha Bhava Duti Suvilita, characterized by the motions and bodily luster of Srimati Radharani. Gadadhar Das is this duty luster. Gadadhar Das is sometimes called the personification of Sri Radhika's divine effulgence. While traveling with Nityananda, Gadadhar would sometimes become absorbed in Madhurya Prem and begin acting and speaking like a Vraj Gopi. Putting a clay pot of Ganga water on his head as if he were a gopi, he would call out, "Who wants to buy milk? Who wants to buy yogurt?" As one of Lord Nityananda's chief preachers in Bengal, Gadadhar Das delivered countless sinners, atheists, and Yavanas. Yavana. Oh, this is a misprint? All right. Yavana. Well, once while tasting Krishna Prem, he began dancing madly and chanting Krishna's holy names outside the Qazi's mansion. The irate Muslim magistrate stormed out of his house to chastise him for disturbing the peace. But beholding the dazzlingly attractive form of Gadadhar Das, the Qazi became stunned and dropped his anger. Gadadhar affectionately embraced the Qazi and said, "Gaur Nityananda has appeared to deliver everyone with divine love by distributing the sweet nectar of the holy name of Hari. Why don't you chant this sweet name of Hari?" "Tomorrow I shall chant the name of Hari," replied the Qazi. So Qazi is a Muslim, like ruler. So Gadadhar Das Goswami is, this Qazi had a transformation in Gadadhar Das Goswami's presence. He was very angry. "Why are you chanting? Why are you chanting?" And then he goes out and he sees him and he just loses all of his anger. And then Gadadhar is asking, "Why don't you just chant the names of Hari?" And he said, "Okay, I'll do that tomorrow." Hearing the Qazi inadvertently chant the holy name filled Gadadhar with happiness. He said, "Why tomorrow? You have already chanted today. And this powerful name of Hari will destroy your sins and purify your existence." From that day on, the Qazi took shelter of Sri Gadadhar Das Goswami. All right, lastly, there's Srinivas Acharya. It's a very interesting history, Srinivas Acharya. After witnessing Lord Gauranga's sannyas ceremony at Katva, so Lord Chaitanya left his young, beautiful, chaste wife. She was only 16 at the time. Lord Chaitanya was, 24? And he left his loving, most loving and caring mother, Mother Shachi. He left to take sannyas to preach throughout India and deliver many people, accepting renunciation, never to return again. So he went to Katva to do that. So this is what it's describing. After witnessing Lord Gauranga's sannyas ceremony at Katva, Chaitanya Das and his pregnant wife visited Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him this. "Soon your wife will give birth to a son named Srinivas," said Lord Chaitanya. "And through Srinivas, all the Bhakti Shastras of Rupa and Sanatan will be distributed." So yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is living as a sannyasi there in Puri. So these devotees come, Chaitanya Das and his wife, and he says that, and she's pregnant, and he says, you'll soon give birth to a son, Srinivas, and he'll distribute the books of Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami. When his father left this world, Srinivas visited the remaining associates of Lord Gauranga in Katva, Navadvip, Jagannath Puri. They blessed Srinivas and gave him valuable instructions for spiritual advancement. Seeing his absorption in Gauranga Prem, they knew he was an embodiment of Gaura Shakti, the energy of Lord Chaitanya. He came to Vrindavan, toured the 12 forests, and took Diksha from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Sri Jiva Goswami taught him the complete philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. It's the best Bhakti Shastra teacher. Acknowledging his vast learning, Sri Jiva gave Srinivas the title Acharya. Accepting Jiva Goswami's order, Srinivas and his two friends, Shyamananda Prabhu and Narottam Das Thakur, pioneered the first transcendental book distribution party. Srinivasacharya, when he arrived on the scene in Vrindavan and these different places, so many of Lord Chaitanya's associates were gone, and he just missed them. So, but still there was Jiva Goswami there and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, but many of the other personalities left by that time. They took a bullock cart of the Goswami's devotional writings from Vrindavan and passed them out all over Bengal and Orissa. So they're doing book distribution. Srinivasacharya initiated many disciples, Ramchandra Kaviraj and others, wrote songs full of bhakti, Sadgoswamashtakam, we're familiar with that one, and introduced a special kirtan style. When leading kirtan, he would sometimes lose his voice from chanting so long. Besides his external activities of preaching and writing, Srinivasacharya practiced intensive Raganuga Bhajan. Raganuga Bhajan is a spontaneous internal worship of Radha and Krishna based on the mood and sentiments of the eternal residents of Vrindavan, such as the gopis. While doing Manasi Seva, service to Radha Krishna within one's mind in a mentally conceived spiritual form, he would often bring tangible paraphernalia from these meditations back with him upon returning to external consciousness. So he's meditating, but he would bring things back. Once, Srinivas sat Lord Gauranga on a jeweled throne within his mind. Then he worshipped the Lord with a golden-handled chamara whisk and a 5-flower garland. Pleased with his service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered the garland back to Srinivas, who then immediately woke and lost the meditation. A surprised Srinivas found the sweetest flower garland he ever smelled hanging around his neck when he returned to external consciousness. Another time, Srinivas was in his Siddha as Mani Manjari watching Srimati Radharani, Sri Krishna and the gopis in holy Leela, joyfully throwing colored powders and dyes on each other. The gopis told Mani Manjari to supply colors to Srimati Radharani and side with them in their war against Krishna. The earth shook from this furious battle. Srinivas's meditation abruptly broke. His body was completely covered from head to toe with fragrant and exotic rainbow-colored powders imported from the spiritual world. Hare Krishna. Okay, that's something about Srinivasacharya. You could read more about Srinivasacharya in this book called Bhakti. Well, actually, no. I'm thinking it's a book called Prem Vilas. Prem Vilas is written by Nityananda Prabhu. Not Nityananda Prabhu, the original Nityananda Prabhu, but Nityananda Das. I don't know much about him, but anyways, he wrote this book, and it's an authentic Vaishnava book, and it's not very big book, and it reads like Krishna book. There's no like verse, purport, it's just flowing book. And it talks about Srinivasacharya coming to Vrindavan and many of the different associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that particular book. It's quite interesting book. All right. It's also Gopashtami. I won't say much about Gopashtami right now. Javita Prabhu will give a talk later in the evening about Gopashtami. But it's the time where Srimati Radharani, she disguises herself as a cowherd boy. So she dresses up with a turban and dhoti and all that. So, yeah, the devotees, pujaris, have been decorating the altar and dressing Srimati Radharani as a cowherd boy, so we'll be seeing her soon. So yeah, so she disguises herself and she goes out to the pasturing grounds with Krishna. That's the festivals. But Javita Prabhu will speak more about that later in the evening. All right. I guess we don't have a verse, huh? Okay. Well, you could pull out your devices if you have them. 7th Canto, Chapter 14, Ideal Family Life, Text 37. If everybody could please repeat after me. 7:14:37. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Parani Anena Shishtani Nritriyag Rishi Devataha Shete Jivena Rupena Puruṣu Puruṣo Hi Asau Paranyanena Shishtani Nritriyagrisha Devataha Shete Jivena Rupena Puruṣo Yasau Paranyanena Shishtani Nritriyagrisha Devataha Shete Jivena Rupena Puruṣo Yasau Paranyanena Shishtani Nritriyagrisha Devataha Shete Jivena Rupena Puruṣo Yasau Would you like to chat? No? Okay. Parani, residential places or bodies. Inena, by him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shishtani, among those creations. Nri, man. Triyak, other than human beings. Animals, birds, etc. Rishi, saintly persons. Devataha, the demigods. Shete, lies down. Jivena, with the living entities. Rupena, in the form of Paramātmā. Puruṣu, within these residential places or bodies. Purushaha, the Supreme Lord. He, indeed. Asau, He, the Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Translation and Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has created many residential places, like the bodies of human beings, animals, birds, saints, and demigods. In all of these innumerable bodily forms, the Lord resides with the living being as Paramātmā. Thus He is known as the puruṣāvatāra. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 1861, it is said, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshu arjunatishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra ruddhani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. The living entity, who is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, exists on the mercy of the Lord, who is always with him in any form of body. The living entity desires a particular type of material enjoyment, and thus the Lord supplies him with a body, which is like a machine. Just to keep him alive in that body, the Lord remains with him as the Purusha, Chirodakashayi Vishnu. This is also confirmed in Brahma Samhita 535. Ekyo pasara chayatam jagaranda kotim yakchakta asti jagaranda chayayarantaha andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the Personality of Godhead, Govinda, who enters the existence of every universe and every atom by one of his plenary portions, and thus manifests his infinite energy throughout the material creation. The living entity, being part and parcel of the Lord, is known as Jiva. The Supreme Lord, Purusha, remains with the Jiva to enable him to enjoy material facilities. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshulanmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karidivachalam Pangam Langayate Ganim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitaranam Vancha Kapadribhischa Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, translation again. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has created many residential places, like the bodies of human beings, animals, birds, saints, and demigods. In all of these innumerable bodily forms, the Lord resides with the living being as Paramātmā. Thus he is known as the puruṣāvatāra. It's not that we have to invite God or invite Krishna within our hearts. Krishna's already there, or Paramatma's there. Just like we invite Krishna or invite the Supreme Personality of Godhead to appear in the form of the deity. There's a whole installation process. Or in some people's understanding of the Holy Spirit, or there's many kind of understandings of the Holy Spirit within Christianity. But sometimes the idea is that God's not there, but you have to invite him. You're so sinful, that's their idea, or we're so sinful, that God is not there, but through a religious ceremony, through becoming baptized or whatever the particular ceremony may be, then you invite God there, and then he's there, right, with you. Otherwise, he's not. So we see that within the Srimad Bhagavatam, like this particular verse, it's saying that Krishna has created many residential places, which is an interesting way of looking at the body, like a residence, but human beings, animals, birds, saints, demigods, all these different forms. And also in the Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam, that Krishna is in the heart of everyone, and he's directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So Krishna is within the heart, and he's directing us to go here, to go there, different places, based on our desires. So sometimes the question may come that if Krishna's in my heart, why aren't I making advancement? It doesn't seem like I'm making much advancement. You could say within Krishna consciousness. Devotees may ask that question. If Krishna's there, why is it so difficult? Why am I having such a hard time making spiritual progress if Krishna's just right there? I mean, is it very difficult to think of somebody who's just right there? Like Dharmaraj is sitting right in front of me. We're old friends, right? We've known each other for many years. I remember when he was a very young boy. He used to dance in front of Jagannath here. He had very long hair at the time, like this, as a young boy. And he's always very respectful to the devotees, to the brahmacharis, but he'd be there and dance in front of Jagannath. He still's dancing in front of Jagannath. But for me to think of Dharmaraj, it's not very difficult. He's right. He's sitting right in front of me. You know, I'm seeing him. When I see him, like I was just relating, you know, dancing in front of, dancing together in kirtan and so on. So we could say, if Krishna is right there, why is it so difficult to think of him, or why is it so difficult? Why does it seem so difficult to make spiritual progress? And sometimes we wonder, am I making spiritual progress? So what do you think? Does anybody have any idea? Yes, she has an idea. You want to pass her the mic? Dharmaseti wouldn't be happy with this code, that's for sure.
Hare Krishna.
No, I
because
don't. I'm happy with it, but he wouldn't be happy. I just need a little bit. Yes.
Because we're trying to forget him?
Yeah, we're trying to forget him. So he's there, but because we want to be an illusion, we want to not remember him, then yeah, that's what's happening. Does anybody have any other ideas? Yes.
This is our desire to be separate from him, or even we have also many desires in our past, and we forgot about it. But in our heart, in Chitta, it's all, everything is stored, and we forgot about it. But Paramātmā knows, and so he not appear.
Any other ideas?
Well, he says, Sarvasachaham mattaks smriti jnanam apohanamcha. So if we want to forget him, then he'll say, okay, apohanam. You can forget me.
So if
because we can't really enjoy freely if we think that the judge and jury is with us at every moment, and we're going to be punished. You know, and forgetting about him is part of the enjoyment, is the foundation of it.
So the general idea is that, okay, well, he's there, but if we want to forget about him, then that's sanctioned. But then we say, well, I mean, if somebody's a devotee, if somebody's identifying as a devotee, as somebody who's interested in Krishna, who wants to have a relationship with Krishna, then if he's there, then still, why are we having such a difficult time forgetting? Or why are we having such a difficult time remembering, I mean? Because you could say, okay, for the ordinary materialistic people, they want to forget Krishna. Okay, so they forget. Okay, Krishna's right there, but they forget very easily. Or they they have forgotten. But for a devotee, for some, you're chanting every day, Hare Krishna, chanting, 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 and we're hearing so many classes, and there's all these pictures here with Krishna, and when we see each other, we say Hare Krishna on the phone. So why is it still so difficult? Dhamraj?
Maybe he wants to know how deep is our love, how determined are we to continue serving him despite all obstacles, and we've turned away from Krishna for so many lifetimes, so why should we expect I don't know, for him to accept us back so easily right away? Something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, he wants to see our determination. That's a very good point. Like, how serious are we? That's one of the aspect, or one of the duties of Maya, of the material energy. This place is called Durga Dham, this material world. In the Brahma Samhita, how does it go? Hadidamu Suteshu Teshu. Devi Mahesha Haridamu Suteshu Teshu. So this is Devi Dham, or Durga Dham. This place that's like a fortress. Means she's in charge. And one of her duties is she's standing there, just like you have people who guard prisons so people can't get out, or you have people guard like concerts, for example. You go to like a big concert. There's guards there who are guarding, making sure people who are not qualified, means who didn't pay, making sure that they don't get to the front row. You have to pay thousands of dollars to get there, so there's all these guards there. If you're not qualified, you're not getting through. So similarly, Maya is there. She's standing there, and she's saying, we go and we're trying to approach Krishna, and she'll ask, "How serious are you? Do you really want to see Krishna, or do you really want to serve Krishna? Are you serious?" So that's one of the. So in other words, testing our determination. And Maya is a servant of Krishna, so Krishna is indirectly testing our determination. And like you said, it's a good point. Why should we accept Krishna, or why should we expect Krishna to immediately give us all facility for remembering him? Why should we expect him to give us pure devotional service so quickly, if it's the most rare thing? And we've been neglecting him for a very long time. So yeah, those are some reasons. Any other reasons? Yes, Virchand.
Also, this why Maya so strictly guide us, close us from Krishna, because of Krishna, like we know, you mentioned, this is very rare, this devotional service, and because of by devotional service we may bind Krishna, like Mama Yashoda, for example.
Yeah. So pure devotional service is so rare, and if Krishna may grant other things easily, like material enjoyment or whatever it may be, but pure devotional service is the most rare thing, and if he gives that, then he's conquered. So pure devotional service is greater than Krishna, as our friend, what was his name, said? What was his name? Remember, he asked Vijay Prabhu the question: is there anything greater than Krishna? So pure devotional service is greater than Krishna because it conquers Krishna. So yeah, he doesn't give it rarely. So therefore, there's a testing period. Krishna wants to see our determination. So that's a important point. So yeah, so we could say that sometimes it may not seem like we're making advancement because there's so many tests or there's so many challenges, but those challenges are going to be there, and they're meant to be there, and we're meant to just go through them. by the strong practice of our sadhana, chanting the holy names, and associating with devotees and so on, we're supposed to just, go right through all of those difficulties to get closer to the goal. And sometimes we also may wonder, are people making advancement? I mean, if we're really proud, we think, okay, yeah, definitely I'm making advancement and everything's, I'm good. But sometimes we may wonder, am I making advancement? But we also may wonder, are others making advancement? Because as devotees, right, or as followers of Srila Prabhupada, it's a preaching movement. So, we're dealing with many people, and we're wondering, are these people making advancement? It's like sometimes a question like, I don't know, like, are these people understanding anything, what I'm saying or what I'm trying to communicate here? Or are they interested? It doesn't even seem like they're interested. Like I went to some programs recently and I was giving class and I was like, geez, like, are these people interested? I don't know, like. If they're sleeping, they're not interested. Yeah, that's true. They weren't sleeping, but you couldn't exactly tell what's going on in their mind. Yeah, then they weren't watching their phones either, so I guess they must have been hearing. But then I don't know. I mean, I'm not. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like Kavi Chandra Swami one time told me, he said, yeah, you travel around, you give so many talks, and you're wondering, like, are people understanding? Are people benefiting? Are people appreciating? Because as Mahatma Prabhu was recently saying, he just had a severe, he had a surgery, heart surgery. He said he almost died. But, and he said it just like changed his life positively. But he was making the point that sometimes we wait for people to die before we show them appreciation. Because at a memorial, like, yeah, they were great for so many different reasons. You list all the reasons and all the ways they helped you and so on. And he was making the point. He said it's his point he was making. He said, I would appreciate if people would just tell me now, like, don't wait till I die. Like, for example, he gives all these seminars. He's just giving so many seminars, japa seminar, forgiveness seminar, so many things. And he says, he's given hundreds and hundreds of seminars throughout the world. He says very few people come up to him and give him feedback, like positive feedback or negative feedback. Most people just don't say anything. So his idea was, can you just tell me? Because then I could get I could get an understanding if what I'm doing is the right thing I should be doing. In other words, should I be giving all these seminars? Maybe I should do something else, some other service. So, yes, it's hard to tell. What I'm doing is it benefiting people? So we may wonder, but I think it is. I mean, even if we cannot see results immediately, gradually people do become purified. People do change through prasadam distribution, through hearing classes, through kirtan. The example that devotees sometimes give is if somebody's sick and they're vomiting all the, whatever they ingest, and therefore their body is malnourished. So the example is given that there was a time where someone was like that, and the Ayurvedic doctor just said, he told the caretaker, just give the person a little ghee every day, a certain amount of ghee, clarified butter. And then the caretaker saying, yeah, but I mean, he's sick, he's vomiting and everything. I mean, how is a little ghee going to help him get back his health? And he's not able to retain anything. And then the doctor said, just give him a little ghee every day. And the idea is that, yes, he may not be able to retain most of it, but some of it will stick. It's like butter, right? Clarified butter. Some of it's definitely going to stick. Watch out. You don't want any unnecessary heart surgeries. I guess anyways. So he did that, and gradually the person regained their health from this because they were retaining a little bit. So similarly, the idea is that it may not seem like we're retaining things. It may not seem like knowledge or art, but it may not seem that others are. But at least in my experience, they are to a degree, and they are making advancement. Like I remember Rajendranand and Prabhu one time, we were listening to Srila Prabhupada lecture, myself and him and other devotees. And afterwards he asked us, so, what do you remember? And then, everybody's kind of like, okay. And they said, one person said a few sentences, and I mean, they were really struggling to say a few sentences. The other person said a few things, maybe some people said nothing. And then he said, okay, so he went around, and then the mic came to him, and he just like practically summarized and repeated the whole lecture. He was really focused. So yeah, we may wonder. I mean, recently, actually last night I was at a place, and I was kind of wondering this. I was like, well, I just don't know if these people are interested or... But then afterwards, I've been going there for like a number of years. Like once or twice a year, I meet with these people. But then one person, they came up to me, her and her husband, and they both seemed more kind of bright-faced and seemed like, you could say more sattvic if you want to say that. And they came up to me and they said, yeah, I really would like if all of you come to our home. It'd be really nice. And I really like the kirtan, and I'm finding great happiness in the kirtan. So that's a big step for them. Previously they might have just heard and said, okay, nice, this and that. But then her desire, the desire to become closer to Krishna, the desire to make some spiritual progress is awakening. So we shouldn't feel discouraged when it seems that we may not be making advancement or others may not make an advancement, because we are, even though it may be hard to see. But we do need to remember that Krishna is in our heart, and therefore we have to be very careful, because Krishna is the self-sufficient philosopher, as Prabhupada writes in the Sri Upanishad. Krishna is the self-sufficient philosopher, fulfilling everyone's desires since time immemorial. So we have to be very careful what we're desiring, because Krishna, Harinam Chintamani, the holy name, is like a touchstone or Chintamani gem. And it's Krishna, and Krishna will, he may fulfill our desire. He is fulfilling everyone's desires. We have to be very careful. Therefore, there's so much stress on having good association, or devotee association, because in devotee association, like for example, Bhishma Panchaka is coming, the last 5 days of Kartik. So devotees do different things. They do different fast of cow products. That's exciting, right? All the different cow products that you could ghee, cow urine, etc. So on different days they do these fasts, and then they're chanting a lot of Hare Krishna, reading a lot. Some devotees, there's different levels of fasting. There's a fruit fast. There's just roots fast, root vegetables. So there's an increase in chanting and worshiping Krishna. So when we talk with devotees, we may be talking with them, and they're like, "Yeah, this is what I plan on doing." And they're like, "Oh," and you're like, "Oh, really? Okay, well, I should do that too." So in this way, that's an example, but in this way, when we're associating with devotees, we get really good ideas, and we get inspired that yes, I'm speaking with this person, and they are making advancement, so I also want to make advancement. Okay, so we'll stop there. Does anybody have any question or comment? Yes, Veer Chandra. Please.
Thank you for the class. I want to ask you, should we, all lectures, ask about this feedback, because of when we make lecture and
Depends how humble you are.
Everyone sleep. What's the purpose of this lecture?
Well, I mean, people would sleep during Srila Prabhupada's lectures, his disciples. Sometimes devotees don't get enough sleep. That's one thing. It's a very common issue in the devotee world. Actually, it's a common issue in the world nowadays. It's not that just devotees are not getting enough sleep. People in general aren't getting enough sleep because all the electricity. Like I was in Salem, South India. They don't have any lights there, nor were people using phones. So it's just like, all right, it's dark, time to go to sleep. So, of course, the materialistic people, the karmas, they do stress more sleep than the devotees. We say about 6 or 7 usually. Sometimes we push it for 5. But the materialistic or the people, they say, I don't know what, 8, 9, something like that. So yeah, sometimes devotees don't get enough sleep. That may be an issue. Sometimes they're, really busy throughout the day, working hard and mentally or physically or whatever. They don't get enough sleep and they have a hard time during class. Or sometimes, so it's not necessarily that a person who's given the class is not saying something that's interesting or valuable, but they would also fall asleep during Srila Prabhupada's classes. But yeah, I mean, it's the duty of speakers. I mean, they could ask for feedback. It's nice to ask for feedback, or it's also nice to try to refine your service, just like deity worship or book distribution or prasadam distribution or whatever. It's always appreciated when the person performing the service tries to refine it, and if they actually do refine it, it's very appreciated. So yeah, we want to try to do that. Okay, Joseph, last. We're running very close.
Okay, examples of Maya standing there, and what was her duty?
To test. How serious are you? Okay, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.